Hello, Tim Moher of TMJAZZ. I am just wanting to help out some students here with how to assemble a clarinet. As you can see, this is my clarinet that's presently in its case. I'm just going to start with some basic maintenance that will help in the assembly, and then go from there. I will put the clarinet down now and just pick up one piece at a time, but just before I do that, you will notice that there's a two large pieces, and that's where you would begin with the assembly, and then you would continue with the, as you'll see in a moment, with the bell, and then the neck, and finally the mouthpiece. So here we go. I'll just put it down and mention that it's really important to begin with, especially if it's a brand new clarinet, to make sure that you get some cork grease on there. The reason for that, of course, is because it just helps out the cork so that it doesn't dry out. But more especially when you go to put the instrument together, if you find that you're pushing too hard to try to put the two pieces together, most likely needs some cork. Now you might not notice, but this is actually fairly empty, so it's not doing a great job. However, you'll notice that I'm trying to be very careful with my fingers, because if you grab everywhere on the clarinet where you just have the cork grease, it's going to go all over. It's going to create a mess. So you really want to try to eliminate that. Have a paper towel nearby, which I do not have right now. And so anyway, let's pretend that we got all the cork grease together. Take the two largest pieces. On one piece you'll see a thumb holder at the back, sort of a rest for it, and it's the longer of the two pieces. If you compare them, you have this one on the right being slightly shorter than the one on the left. Doesn't matter which hand you hold either one of them in, but I'm going to hold with the right hand the shorter piece, and I'm going to make sure that I can see this little label at the top. I don't know if it's evident there for you, but it might say Yamaha, it might say, this is don't have my glasses, a Selmer buffet, and so it has usually a logo at the top right there. So that's facing up. Then you'll notice that there are three keys here. I'm going to hold it in for a second. See this one that's, there's two open hole keys, and then one in between. You just want to make sure that you grab that somehow, either with your middle finger or with your thumb. Press it down so it pops this open right here, which is something that you just don't want to get into the way with the mechanisms on this side, because you can damage it that way. So you press it down as you're putting it on. When you put it on, you of course align the holes straight down, so that you have holes here and you have holes here. They're straight down, and you do a gentle twist. You don't twist around and around and around, because you're going to collide keys that way. So you just do a gentle twist like this. Notice that I'm holding the large piece down at the bottom, this one somewhere where I can grab that hole right there, and I just do a gentle twist. Now how do you know if you have it right? Well, you can look at the holes straight down, but there's also, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but there's where that key goes up and down, there's a fine line that's usually on them that runs straight across with a connecting piece. So if you can get it, I don't know if that's picking up, maybe. If you can get it to line up perfectly, that's great. But if you want to use your eye to make sure the holes are going straight down, that's fine too. Now, as I mentioned, you would take the bell. So the bell looks like a bell. It's this right here, and you would put it on. Now, I would suggest instead of holding the clarinet at the top, you would hold it down at the bottom, where there's very few keys that you're going to start twisting, because you know, if you grab these keys more than you have to, you're going to end up doing some damage to the mechanism. So you don't want to avoid that at all costs. So now I have the bell in one hand, and again, hopefully this cork has been greased, and I will twist it around gently as well. It doesn't really matter which way it goes on. You know, one side of the bell is the same as the other. So there we go. That's good. Now either on your lap if you're sitting in a chair, or in this case I'm on the floor. So I'll press this down on the floor of the bell. Okay, the bell's on the floor. And then there's two parts to the, this is called the neck piece. You'll notice that what it looks like, or a barrel, it looks like the bottom, this part right here, is slightly larger than the top part. So you want the larger part that is going down. And again, look at where I'm putting my right hand. It's all the way up so that it is not grabbing all these keys, because as soon as you do that, you're going to mess around with these mechanisms and you're going to destroy the clarinet. So try to bring it up here. Try to use the force down toward the bell end so that that allows you just to gently twist. Okay? Gently twist and it's on. Again, it doesn't matter which way it's facing. If you want the logo at the front, put it at the front. Then you have the mouthpiece. And this is going to be different from the one that you see in your school likely, because the only silver portion is this little tab here. So I'll show you the pieces that I have. There's the cap that goes over top. In this case, I know it's probably not a great idea to store my reed there, but I have the reed on right now. And I have, this is the ligature. Your ligature is usually going to be a silver mechanism. Okay? Silver mechanism. I don't think I have one, so that's too bad that I can't show you how to use it, but in any case I'll mention along the way as we go there. So personally, so what do we have? We have the ligature, putting it down on the ground. We have the mouthpiece cap, and then we have the reed. I'm going to soak the reed. It's really important. I'll mention this in the assembly of the clarinet, that you soak both ends of the reed, and that you take your time. You can put it right into your mouth, and you know, my students always find first time round doing this, until they get used to it, that it's, oh my goodness, it's wood and it tastes weird. It doesn't really taste weird, it just has no taste really. Put it in your mouth. You can flip it around. I'm doing the short version. You could take your time doing this, and then I completely flipped it and trying to get back in. Just make sure it's moist. You'd be amazed how important this is, because if you do not moisten your reed enough, you're going to feel as though you're working twice as hard. It's not going to sound as nice when you play, because it needs to be lubricated, it needs to be loose, it needs to be moist in order to vibrate. So make sure that you have a moist reed. But you can I'll keep this in my mouth for a moment as I put on the next piece. Once again, I'm grabbing it from the neck here, and I'm using the support of the bottom, either on my lap or in this case the floor. And now it does matter which way the mouthpiece goes on. You can see that I just squeezed it on, holding it at the top. But the thing is that you have, let me see if I can point this properly, this long key at the back, it's a thumb key. There's only one of them really on the clarinet. It's on the back where there's a single hole. Okay, you want the flat part of the mouthpiece to line up with that thumb key. Okay, so there's a flat open hole here. I don't know if it's picking it up, but there is this opening on the mouthpiece. So I'm going to line it up right now, so that it is perfectly in line with that long key. There. Now, when you go to put the reed on, a couple of things. Make sure it's moist. Secondly, put it so that you have the flat side of the reed. There's a flat side and there's a slightly curved side. Put the flat side down. You don't have to try to insert it, as I've seen some students try to do. It's just right on top, but the thin part of the reed, you can see how thin it is at the top there, it goes to the top of the mouthpiece. So you put that down, and you put it down so that you can just barely see the black. Now when I'm going to put the This is again called the ligature. Yours is usually silver. And you usually have two knobs on it. You would put the two knobs on the reed side. That's the way I would do it anyway, on the reed side. This, however, this is a different one. It's a different format. So I'm putting it right over the reed, but the knob is on the opposite side. Just the way this is designed. Okay. Now, it's important that you have the reed far enough down so that if you miss, you don't chip the reed. So I bring the reed down a little as I put it on, and I put it on carefully nonetheless. Try not to chip it. And then I bring it down so that, again, if you can see, the ligature will go down as far as just over the part where it starts bending. Okay, just a little further down from that. Okay, so there's, I don't know if that gives you a better idea. So right there, that's easier to see. So I put it just over the top, and then before I tighten it, I want to adjust the reed. Now it's really important that my eyes are going right down parallel to the tip of the mouthpiece, and that I am barely able to see black of the mouthpiece when I bring this reed up to the edge of the mouthpiece. This is now, as I'm doing that, I'm also bringing the ligature down a little bit without tightening it yet. I was just inching it down, and so it tightens on its own. Once I get it just perfect, not too much to the right, not too much to the left, not too far down, not too high up. You have to be very, very particular about this step, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But in any case, you can then twist. You would twist your ligature screws one at a time, and just do it so that it won't go any further, but you don't have to really crank it. Now, so I have it set, and I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and I think I have it fairly well done. So I'm going to show you close at hand here, and let me see. See how you can just barely see the black? That's what you want. You want to just be able to barely see the black. Why? What's the big deal? Well, it needs to vibrate. If you have it too far down, it's going to have that gaping hole there where there's no ability for the air to make the reed vibrate and put it in motion. So you want it high enough, but if you put it over the mouthpiece, then it's going to overextend and it's not going to vibrate either. So this is why you just want it perfect, bang on. So take your time. I've had students come to me and say, Mr. Moore, it's my clarinet is broken. And the first thing that I do when they say that is I look at the mouthpiece, the reed placement on the mouthpiece, if they think it's broken. And just on the note of being broken, it is important, as even a note to teachers and students as well, that sometimes, depending on the model, I'm not going to mention models and badmouth them, but the point is that some of them are not built as well as others. So some of these keys on the side, you can see a little deck on the side here. Sometimes they get stuck because they get a little bit mangled, and you have to pull up on it, and that's all you have to do. Other times, if you get a jewelry, fine jewelry screwdriver, you can see some of the screw pin heads here where you have to just screw them in if something happens to it. Now that's another whole thing that I could look at another time. But there are ways just to repair it. Usually your teacher can repair it. So if anything happens to your clarinet when you're at home, don't panic. Bring it into your teacher. They should be able to sort it out. And if not, you can always get something repaired for, usually reasonable, under $40 anyway, if it's a basic repair. Okay, so let me see how to hold the clarinet. Well, there is this thumb hold on the right-hand side, and you have to place your thumb so that it is under that, and it's my right hand. Okay, you're facing me right now, but it's right hand that's going under. That allows these fingers to go right over top. There are 3 holes there, and so they just naturally rest over those 3 holes. The left hand will have a thumb rest at the back. It's the one with the long, sorry, maybe you can't see that. This long key at the back, at the base there, there's that thumb holder. So you're going to put your left hand, you're going to put your thumb just over that. Now on placing the thumb, you want to make sure that you are not you're not holding the clarinet somewhere, either here or definitely not on one of the keys, but you just want to sort of like a hovercraft. You just want to go right over top. You just want to be gently there so that you can use that key when necessary. So watch, I can go up and down, and that's open, that's closed. That's open, that's closed. You don't have to do this where you switch around and move back and forth. Okay, don't do that, because you're just going to find that that's really a waste of time and you're not able to move note to note quickly enough. So you just go hover over them, use that thumb key, and then the 3 fingers of your left hand go over top the 3 open holes. 2 of them have metal keys on top of the open holes, and the third one, so up close again, does not. There's a hole right here. It's black, you can barely see it. Then there's the 2 open ones. You don't put your second finger on the closed key. That's a mistake that is often made by beginners. You put it on that open hole. The culprit, unfortunately, for the clarinet, when you're trying to get the sound on the clarinet, culprit for not getting the sound properly as you go down the instrument is the middle finger. That middle finger. So here we go. You have the thumb down, you have the first finger. That middle finger, you want your fingers to go across, not up and down, but across the keys, so that you're really allowing the pads of your fingers. I'm going to make some craters here on my fingers so you can see that my fingers have those little hole indentations on them because I'm totally covering the keys. So you can even check for yourself and see if you're doing a proper job with that. Okay? So there's my craters. I don't know if the camera's picking them up. Trust me, you can make yours and then you can see them. Okay? So I think I'll stop there because I could go on and on about the clarinet. Oh, one other thing though I will mention. When you go to put it in your mouth and create a sound, you want your teeth on top and your lower lip on the bottom. You don't want the mouthpiece in too far, it'll squeak. You don't want your mouthpiece out too far, you won't get a sound because you'll be cutting off the reed circulation. You want to find that perfect in between. And that's about it. Be sure to smile when you're playing and you'll get a terrific tone. Good luck with your studies, and be sure to subscribe to the TMJAZZ channel on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thank you.